Hi viewers, welcome back. My name is Adiola Fayon, and right now to talk about so many issues going on in Nigeria is joining us from Abuja, the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on Media and Publicity, Malam GARBA SHEHU. Welcome to Sahara TV. Malam SHEHU, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much, Adiola. I appreciate it.
All right. So I want to start out by something that happened very recently. We know that the SSS surrounded the home of former National Security Advisor Sambo Dansuki. And if you don't mind just telling us what is happening with that.
Unfortunately, I've been trying to get the SSS Director General since I read the news online. I've been unable to get across to him. After this interview, I'll continue. I need to hear from him before I can confirm or deny.
I see. But is Mr. President aware, and is he saying anything about it?
That's why I said, for me, the information, I just learned of it online.
I see.
And I've been trying to get confirmation, but I'm unable to get across to the SSS DG.
I see. So that means until you get that information, Mr. President will probably not know about this.
Before it gets to the level of the President, they said it is the SSS that is doing that. So let's understand if the SSS is doing what they said they are doing.
I see. So also we know that President Buhari dissolved all the boards of government agencies. A lot of people are asking what took him so long and what should we expect now?
Well, you know, I think he wants to bring something new to Nigeria, which unfortunately our people don't seem to have the patience for. He wants succession to be systematized. And he thinks that there is much to lose by disruptive changes. For instance, you know, I was with him over there at the inaugural ground, the Eagle Square. Some of our drivers, you know, from the campaign insisted on taking over the cars that brought President Jonathan there and then. And the Jonathan people, you know, laid off and allowed them to take over. Before us, one of the drivers could not move a Mercedes-Benz car because he didn't know how to operate it. So that's the kind of thing. If you can rush these things, in the end, you may not get the benefit of experience of the people that you are succeeding. So the president is not as if he doesn't appreciate the need to cause these changes or to do them. He has said that there's so much that he's been getting from the people who are there. What he is seeing, I don't have to see. I'm not even seeing everything that he's seeing. But I believe that that there's so much that he has gained by holding back on the dissolutions and the sackings that Nigerians are yearning for.
I see. So now that Mr. President dissolved these board members of different government agencies, does that mean we should expect some appointments very soon?
Oh, appointments will come. There's no question about it. Appointments will come. In fact, all of the people who run the campaign, they think that they're deserving of placement on places like the boards and the ambassadorial positions and all of that. They can't wait to get there because, I mean, this is how party politics is all about. However, the president is systematic about doing things. He is not going to be rushed into making mistakes, but that he wants to benefit from the experience of the people that are being taken. Whenever he's satisfied that such time has come, he obviously will be making those appointments.
I see. Right now, I'd like to talk about one of your recent tweets where you said that the end of Boko Haram is in sight, and you said you quoted President Muhammadu Buhari. A lot of people are wondering how you know for sure that the end of Boko Haram is in sight, considering the fact that former President Goodluck Jonathan said the same statement several times. So people just want to know how you're sure that the end of Boko Haram is here, so that we also can be sure that the end of Boko Haram is here.
Well, you know that the kind of planning that is going into the takeoff of the multinational joint task force made up of troops contributed by Nigeria, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Benin Republic. We have never had this kind of concerted effort aimed at, resolving these things. Two, that under Mr. Jonathan, Nigerian government, with all the money in this world, could not even buy weapons because some countries, particularly the US, had barred the Nigerian government from accessing certain kinds of weapons that were needed. And in addition to that, without engaging in party politics, Mr. Jonathan allowed Boko Haram to fester for 6 years. It could have been ended much earlier than now. And it was clear that something could be done, because when he decided that he needed to make the push, Nigerians began to see the results at the dying days, in the dying days of his own tenure. So President Buhari is putting together this lectured effort. And by the end of this month, thousands of troops, Nigeria will be contributing nearly 5,000 troops to the multinational joint task force, well-armed, trained military personnel, and they will go after this ragtag, army of terrorists. Nigeria will end this in the shortest possible time.
I see. Thank you so much for that explanation, but I'm sure that you're also aware that a lot of Nigerians have been complaining that Mr. President has been slow regarding this Boko Haram issue. I noticed that earlier today, actually, this Thursday, I noticed that you published job approval ratings of Nigerian president from 2007 till 2015, and in there it says that President Buhari is rated at 70%, and it looks like you're trying to tell us that he's doing really well so far after his first month. Now, the problem with this rating is that many people believe it's owned by former Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and these same people actually said at that time during the election that President Goodluck Jonathan would beat, they projected that President Jonathan would beat President Buhari with a landslide, but we all know how that turned out. So why should we find them as credible, considering that they were wrong when they said President Jonathan would be president, and considering that it's owned by former Finance Minister Ngozi Iweala?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I'm qualified to rate or to give credibility to NOI. But of late, especially since after the elections, we had reason to interact closely with the lady who has been running the NOI. And I think she has made the best effort to convince us that the partisanship ascribed to the NOI, including by ourselves in the course of the campaign, was not justified. We said, okay, we will give them the benefit of the doubt, and we have extended cooperation with them. And if you see the results, you will see that yes, it runs counter to some of the sentiment, especially on the social media. And that tells you then that perhaps much of the discussion that is going on by some of the angry young people who are saying Buhari should rush is not the same sentiment that is harbored by a majority of the population. On all accounts, 70% is an excellent score anywhere. And we're encouraged by it. And if you remember, June is the month in which President Buhari had not even appointed these service chiefs, for instance. The service chiefs had brought enormous goodwill to the government. From our ratings, from the feedback we are getting, this perhaps is the first time when credibility and merit was allowed to come into the choice of service chiefs. President Buhari chose men to command the troops, men he hadn't met in his life. Looked at their records and said, you guys merited, go and do the job.
And I'm glad that you brought this up because I was going to ask about that as well. I'm sure that you're aware that, after this appointment, some Nigerians have been reacting, saying that why is it that 4 out of 6 of them are from the north? Now, there are those who are saying that, oh, because Boko Haram is majorly in the north, they had to be from the north. But there are others that are concerned that it looks like majority of those that Mr. President has been appointing are northerners. How do you react to this?
Well, I'm happy that they are saying that they are Nigerians. They are not saying that they have come from Cameroon or Chad or even from the moon. So it's good for this country that at least Nigerians are the ones who are taking the jobs. But quite apart from this, I think President Buhari is sensitive to the diversity of this country. Have Nigerians forgotten that this was the man who stood there and said he won't accept a Muslim ticket, given that Nigeria is a multi-religious society? So these are the kind of things I forget. But then he has over 6,000 jobs. If he wishes to appoint, more than 6,000 appointments to make. Now, why would anybody use less than 10 appointments to judge a president on these matters? Again, it boils down to, the lack of patience. This man is an experienced leader. He had been military head of state before. And I believe that given age and experience and time, there are things that he did then that he will not be doing in the same way today. Nigeria stands to gain from the accumulation of wisdom Buhari has garnered over his long life, and for which we should be grateful. So give him chance, give him time. He will balance out things.
I see.
And it will play out well. He will be president for all Nigerians. Mm-hmm. He has sworn to an oath, and that is not going to change.
I should point out, though, that I was a bit surprised when you said that we should be glad he didn't choose people from Cameroon. I mean, are you saying he could have chosen people that are not Nigerians?
Well, what I'm saying is that we as Nigerians, then we must accept each other as one people, as brothers, because well, the thing is that the Nigerian, he can't change the public.
We shouldn't see it as northerners, southerners. That's what you're saying, right? Well, we should just see them as, oh, they are Nigerians, they are Nigerians.
As I said, we have the choice to make. In the case of the service chiefs, President Buhari said merit was the yardstick that was used to generate these appointments. And there's no doubt about it, considering, as he said, that these are men he hadn't met all his life, and just looked at their records and said, yes, these are the guys who fit the bill. So that's as far as we can see.
All right. So speaking of appointments, I'd like to talk about Biafra Radio. But before I do that, it looks like Mr. President has made 14 appointments so far, and none of them are Igbo. And some people who consider themselves as Biafrans have been complaining about this, and that leads me to the question about Biafra Radio. First of all, what is going on? We heard that the National Broadcasting Corporation jammed Biafra Radio. Some people are saying they are not jammed. Exactly what is happening with Biafra Radio? And not only that, how is this administration trying to make sure that they make everybody feel inclusive, that this country belongs to all of us, including to those that consider themselves as Biafrans?
Well, I will go back to the issue of the appointments. I don't know if President Buhari has made 14 appointments, but I can say to you that there are some appointments he has made around his own person. That is in respect of, look, if you had a personal secretary who had been with you for 20 years, and he had served you with honesty and trust, and you wish that you will have a personal assistant at this time, which the establishment allows, would you discard the 20-year-old secretary or the cook, the housekeeper, who had prepared meals for President Muhammadu Buhari when he was chairman of PTF, coming all these years to the point that he had become president? Would it be advisable? I'm asking this with all seriousness. Would you drop your driver who had taken you around for 25 years?
These are actually not like positions of drivers and cooks. Like, I'm talking about like key official positions.
That are political or routine. I have my doubts. In any case, I don't think it is helpful for this country that we begin to count the number of Hausa or Yoruba or full day people who are in serving whoever. This is why the country is where it is at the moment. We fought this through the campaign. There are people who declined to accept Buhari simply because he spoke the language he did, or he came from the part of the country that they are entitled to their own opinions. But can't we thank God that for once Nigerians said, look, we want one man in whose hands our money is safe. Integrity, integrity, integrity. Majority of Nigerians decided that that's what they want. Merit, integrity. So integrity and merit will rule his appointments. But please, our brothers in wherever they are, whether they're Igbos or wherever they are, be patient. This president will make as many as 6,000 appointments.
I see.
And he is bound, even if he doesn't wish it, is bound by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to reflect federal character.
I see.
And it will be done. Now, going to the issue of radio that you mentioned, the pirate radio that you mentioned. Well, you know that the issue of Nigeria's oneness as a country had been settled with the Nigerian Civil War. And the Nigerians have since moved on, having their own brother's keeper, and accept to live as one people. Now, if you have some fringe elements, some guys who are maybe 0.0001% agitating for separation, for the breakup of the country, I think that nobody should take that kind of people seriously, because they are not representative of the ruling thinking, the sentiment that is dominant in the southeast and in the entire parts of the country. Now, was there an initial confusion about whether the radio is there or not? Yes, there was, because the basis of the assertion that it was shut down came from the Nigerian Ministry of Information. Now, apparently, either they misrepresented the information available to them, or that the media did not hear exactly what they meant to say. In the last 48 hours, I'm aware that the owners of the satellite, which window is being used to broadcast that pirate radio, had come to Nigeria, and they had apologized to the Nigerian people and the government of Nigeria, and they said they were going to take out that radio. My sense is that by now they will have done that. And we are not a lawless jungle. There is a rule of law in this country. There is due process. You can't set up a pirate radio station and begin to make some of the kind of hate speech against our president. And then you think that nobody should just look at what you are doing. So beyond this incident, I guess that going forward, whoever is satellite owners must be prepared to respect the laws of this country. And I think that they are being talked to by the officials of the Nigerian government.
I see. Thank you so much.
They shouldn't take the unity of this country for granted. We fought a war to preserve the unity of Nigeria, and somebody cannot just come to ride roughshod over our own emotions on these matters.
I wanted to ask regarding the fact that President Buhari will be coming to Washington, D.C. on Monday, and he said that one of the top one of the major things on his mind to talk about when he gets here is security in Nigeria. I'm wondering exactly what kind of help we are hoping to get from the U.S. now that we have not gotten in the past. Like, what exactly are we trying to get the U.S. to do for us about Boko Haram?
Well, you know that by way of protocol, it will not be appropriate that President Obama will be reading from Sahara Reporters, you know, the kind of information that President Buhari will be bringing forward to the table. However, there are other things that are already in the domain of the public. For instance, we need intelligence on the movement of the Chibok girls and the entire Boko Haram activity. That capacity does not reside in Nigeria. And you know, our armed forces, willing as they are, they need training, they need equipment, new equipment, and the refurbishment of those that are there, including aircraft. And you know yourself that at some point, the relationship between the Nigerian government under Dr. Jonathan and the United States had come to, had broken down almost irretrievably. And this is a chance for Nigeria to press the reset button, you know, of the relationship between U.S. and Nigeria. There's a huge opportunity for Nigerian president to bring all of the issues under the sun to the table. And the Americans want to listen to his plans. They want to listen to his vision for Nigeria. They and their partners in the G7 have given unconditional support to the new Nigerian president. It's unprecedented.
I see. Just so you know, regarding Mr. President's trip to Washington, D.C., there has been rumors circulating, which I'm sure by now you would have heard. There has been rumors that the U.S. may try to convince Nigeria to repeal the 14-year jail term for gay people in Nigeria. And it's just rumors, but I'm just trying to know your reaction to this.
Well, the president of Nigeria will address the question when it is raised. But without raising the issue, you know where the Nigerian public opinion is on that matter. Even if President Buhari holds a contrary opinion, positive, negative on what you just said now, he is one person representing the sentiment of Nigerians over this issue. He cannot ignore the domestic opinion, public opinion on this matter. Given the chance, he will speak about it, and the world will know where Nigeria stands on the matter.
I see. So we wouldn't know where, or do you know where President Buhari stands on that law, the 14-year jail term? If he thinks that it's fair or not.
As I said to you, someone did a poll worldwide for same-sex marriage. The polling showed that 97–98% of Nigerians had disapproved of same-sex marriage. If you, this questioner, Adebola, you are the president of Nigeria, can you survive the backlash if you decide to go against popular opinion?
I see. I'm going to move on to, I'm getting to the end of my questions. So we read in the news lately that Mr. Emeka Anyankwu was at Aso Rock begging President Muhammadu Buhari not to probe President Goodluck Jonathan or any of his ministers. Is this true?
This is horrible. Do you know, I learned that Chief Anyankwu, one of the most distinguished Nigerians still alive, when he was coming to the State House, he passed on word that he is coming to the State House with a written statement, so that when confronted after leaving the president's office, he will hand his written statement to the journalists so that they will not go on to misquote him. Sadly for Mr. Anyankwu, they still have chosen to misquote him. And that is sad, but I think Nigerian journalism must rise above this kind of. He brought a written statement in his pocket so that people will not say things that he did not say. That still did not save him.
So he did not say that Mr. President should not probe Mr. Jonathan?
How could he have? How could he have?
I see. But then, so does that mean that President Jonathan and his ministers will be probed?
No, I have no information of that. I have no mandate to say that. Whoever has taken money belonging to Nigeria that did not belong to them, Buhari's word is bring it back. Bring it back. That's it.
I see. Malam GARBA SHEHU, thank you so much for joining us today on Sahara TV. I think that's all the questions we have right now.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it.
Barka de Salah.
Barka, thank you. Have you seen the moon yourself? Thank you.
All right, viewers, that has been Malam GARBA SHEHU. That's the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, stating we have much more to come.